In a stunning announcement that caught Washington and the world off guard, President Trump declared the United States would resume nuclear weapons testing for the first time since 1992. But here's what experts are urgently warning. This move could hand China the strategic advantage of a generation. Just hours before his crucial summit with Xi Jinping, Trump ordered the Pentagon to begin testing America's nuclear arsenal on what he called an equal basis with Russia and China. The timing, the target, and the consequences suggest this isn't just military posturing. It could be a catastrophic miscalculation, because if America resumes testing, nuclear watchdogs warn that China doesn't have to think twice. Beijing would finally have the green light it's been waiting for. And that's where everything changes. In today's Defense Upcast, we're breaking down why experts believe Trump's nuclear restart would paradoxically weaken America while supercharging China's military ambitions. On October 29th, Trump posted to Truth Social, "Because of other countries' testing programs, I have instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately." He specifically named Russia as second in arsenal size and China as a distant third, but will be even within 5 years. But here's where the story gets complicated. Experts immediately pointed out a fundamental problem. Nobody else is actually conducting nuclear tests. Russia? No tests since 1990. China? Nothing since 1996. Even North Korea, the only nation to test this century, hasn't conducted a detonation in over a decade. The US conducts what's called subcritical testing, testing nuclear components without the explosive yield. This gives America an unmatched database of knowledge. China, meanwhile, has only conducted 47 tests in its entire history, compared to America's 154. Here's another problem. Trump said it would begin immediately, but congressional researchers say it would take 24 to 36 months and hundreds of millions of dollars just to prepare the Nevada National Security Site, America's only nuclear testing facility. Energy Secretary Chris Wright later clarified that Trump likely meant subcritical testing, not full explosive detonations, but the president's own military nominees seemed confused about what they're supposed to be testing. Now comes the critical part. China, along with Russia and India and Pakistan, holds the asymmetric advantage here. The US has already conducted over 1,000 tests. Its engineers understand nuclear weapon design inside and out. Additional tests give America minimal technical gain, but China? China has only 47 test data points. If Beijing resumes explosive testing, it could rapidly advance weapon design, expand its arsenal faster, and close the knowledge gap with America. Experts call this comparative advantage. Matthew Bunn from Harvard's Belfer Center puts it bluntly. The country that would benefit the most would be China. William Alberca, former NATO Arms Control Director, agrees. Among the big nuclear weapons states, there's one country that would benefit the most from resumed testing. That's China. China's foreign ministry immediately reaffirmed it's a responsible nuclear-armed state committed to a test moratorium. But analysts note Beijing is now in an impossible position. Stick to restraint while the US breaks international norms, or resume testing to keep up. At the same summit where Trump made this announcement, China unveiled missiles capable of hitting the US mainland. Intelligence suggests Beijing could field over 1,000 warheads by 2030 without needing a new test. What Trump may not fully grasp is that he's threatening to unravel 3 decades of international restraint. The Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, signed in 1996, hasn't been ratified by the US Senate, but it's been observed anyway. That voluntary restraint has held. A Trump presumption would signal that all bets are off. Russia's already positioned itself to respond accordingly. India and Pakistan, 2 nuclear rivals on the brink of conflict, would calculate their own advantage. North Korea would see an opportunity to accelerate its program. Here's the nightmare scenario strategists are gaming out. If the US conducts even one explosive test, China conducts 5,100 tests in rapid succession, learning 30 years' worth of weapons development in a compressed timeline. With hypersonic delivery systems already proven, China could achieve strategic parity with the US decades ahead of schedule. Meanwhile, America gains almost nothing it doesn't already know. It's like handing your opponent a playbook to your defense. Trump frames this as denuclearization, a negotiating tactic to bring China and Russia to talks. The thinking, escalate to de-escalate. Force rivals to the negotiating table by showing you're willing to restart an arms race. But every nuclear strategist who's looked at this says the same thing. This isn't leverage. It's surrender of U.S. strategic advantage. The Pentagon hasn't yet confirmed preparations. Congress would need to approve funding. There are legal questions about the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty. But the precedent has been set, and Beijing is watching. This isn't just about missiles and warheads. It's about who controls the next era of the Pacific. And critics argue Trump just handed China the blueprint. What started as a negotiating gamble might accelerate the very strategic collapse Trump wanted to prevent. For Defense Upcast, stay vigilant.